You are listening to the Life Coach Business Podcast with Amanda Karlstad, episode number 215. Welcome to the Life Coach Business Podcast, a show for coaches who are ready to up-level their business and take their impact, leadership, and results to a whole new level. If you're ready to start taking powerful action and become the leader your business needs in order to grow and thrive, this show is for you. I'm your host, Amanda Karlstad, certified life and business coach and entrepreneurial leadership expert. Now let's get down to business. Hello and welcome everyone. If you are listening in the US, happy Thanksgiving. I hope your holiday is amazing. And for those of you outside of the US or who are not celebrating, welcome. It's so good to have you here. I have a really great episode for all of you today. I'm excited to dive into. And as I was thinking about today's episode and what I wanted to bring to all of you, I decided that I wanted to bring to you, in the spirit of the holiday, in the spirit of gratitude, 10 lessons that, as I look back and reflect on this year in my business and in my life, that I wanted to share with you some of my lessons learned from this year. And these are all lessons that at different points in the year, I either learned or my learning of the lesson went even deeper. And these are all lessons that I'm so extremely grateful for. And I believe are so powerful as I look back at them that I know can really serve you all today. And so I decided to bring them here and offer them to you today, that you can really take these lessons. And my hope would be that you would use these lessons to help set up your best year in the coming year, in 2024. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the first lesson is a lesson that I have learned over and over again in my journey. And as I look at this past year, I can honestly say I have so much gratitude for my past self, for making the decisions that I've made, for going after my dreams, for going for it. And now to be living, to be experiencing on a whole new level, the power of creating my business and my life with intention. And I just know that on such a deep level, and experiencing this on such a deep level, that bringing those desires, bringing the desires that I had years ago into reality, is that we all have the power to do just that. So when I look back at this year, as I look back on what I've created, I am so grateful that I chose to believe in my dreams, that I chose to listen to those desires, that I chose to believe in, and here's a quote that I love from Rumi that I think sums it up, is that what you seek is also seeking you. And that I've chosen this vision over and over again, even when I didn't have the evidence. Instead, I chose to believe in my ability to create my business and to grow my business to the level that I've grown it, that at the same time, I've also been able to be so intentional with my life and how I wanted to intentionally live and what I wanted all of this to look like, how I wanted to spend my time, how I wanted to show up in my personal life, that now I get to live those choices today. So I'm offering here for you to choose belief, to choose to believe in yourself, to choose to believe in the dreams that you have, no matter what. It has been such a beautiful gift that I have given myself, that I've given my family, that I've given to those that I serve. So the lesson that I want to emphasize here is the power of your choice, of your ability, your agency to choose belief over doubt, to choose in your ability to create that you most want to create, despite what your past might tell you, despite the evidence that you think you have that's telling you that you can't, and deciding anyways that you are choosing, that you're choosing belief, that you're going after it, to keep going after that which you most dream of. Because again, what you are seeking is also seeking you. It's a really powerful paradigm that I invite you to lean into. All right. The second lesson is the power of the compound effect. And I've talked about this before in the podcast, and we'll link up the show notes on the previous episodes that I've done around the power of the compound effect. But when I look at this year, when I look especially at the results that I've created, both in my life and in my business, when I look at some of the best results and even some of the results that weren't so great, one thing is very clear to me, and that is that there is real power in the compound effect, that the compound effect is always at play, whether that's in life or whether that's in business. And to give you a little bit of context, the compound effect, what I mean by that is it's essentially a principle that states that big rewards come from a series of smaller decisions. And from those smaller decisions come small, consistent actions that over time end up adding up, that result in huge results, that are the effect of making and implementing those smaller micro decisions that lead to consistent behaviors that then lead to your actions over time that then ultimately create the results that you experience. So as I look back on this year and I look back at the impact that we were able to make, when I look at the revenue that we generated, when I look at the service, the value that we've created, all of this has been the product of those smaller, more micro decisions, those micro actions that have been done consistently over time, that have now resulted in huge wins, that have resulted in revenue and clients and impact and service, and personally has allowed me to now be running a very successful business that gives me a ton of personal freedom, that has allowed me to be fully present as a mom, that my husband and I were just talking recently about the fact that we get to do what we do in a way that is so different, in a way that allows both of us to live into and be operating from our full potential, that has created a life that most would not take the opportunity to live. And we have such a deep level of gratitude for this. So I would encourage you that lesson number 2 is to understand the real impact of the compound effect on your business and in your life, and to make those small micro decisions, which will lead you to taking those smaller, more micro actions, and to do that over and over, and to do that consistently over time. What will happen is you will reap the reward of those actions. You will reap the reward of those decisions. You will reap the benefits of making these decisions today and taking the actions that will eventually lead you to and will result in huge gains that you'll be able to have such gratitude for. When you look back on your past self and you see how those smaller, more micro decisions and following that with consistent action has now created your dreams today, it's an amazing thing. All right. The third lesson I want to offer to you is the importance of keeping service at the forefront of what you do. Now, I want to be really clear here. When I say that, I'm not saying that this replaces or doesn't exist alongside the desire to create a successful business, to create a lot of revenue, to make a huge impact with your business. Because I very much do believe that there is space and that both must actually exist. So what I'm saying is that one of the ways that your business will grow inevitably is when you truly help others. It's when you are able to truly facilitate real transformation for people, when you help your people, your clients get results. And a big part of this is by always being willing to approach things from a lens of service. Now, what I will also say is that sometimes this means that what might truly be in service to your clients, for example, is going to require more from you. It may require that you are growing and expanding your capacity as a coach. It means that you must learn how to meet your clients where they're at. It's about creating a program and services that truly bring value to your clients, that help solve the problems that they have. So much of this is putting your own narratives aside and showing up from a clean place with your clients and keeping them at the forefront of not only just your coaching. And when I look at my business growth, not just from this past year, but over the course of the last several years, I can see just how clearly showing up from a place of service, from a place of how do I truly help my clients, and answering that question, showing up from that question has created so much growth as a result. It has created so much trust with my clients as a result. It's created extraordinary results externally in the businesses. So I want to tell you that service always, I believe, has to be at the lens in which you approach your clients, in which you approach your programs, in how you approach the content that you're creating in your coaching, in all aspects of the business. Okay. The fourth lesson that I am choosing to anchor in this year is the importance of making what I call bold moves in your business. And as I look back on the year, and in addition to that, also looking ahead to next year, I right now am in a season of expansion. And as I look at the business overall, part of what has led me here, part of what has helped me grow my business to the level that it's at today, is by being willing to be uncomfortable and to make bold moves. And at the same time, as I look forward, as I see the bold moves that some I'm in the process of right now and others that are just on the horizon, where those bold moves, those intentional big decisions that feel uncomfortable, that feel like they're stretching me right now, are also the things that further catapult the growth, that further make the impact that I know I'm here to make. So I would offer to you that at every stage of the journey, you will be faced with stepping into new levels of yourself, of stepping into new levels of your capacity, of your work, that will not feel comfortable, that will not feel pleasant. And those will also be the things that when I look at what I am now doing, it's also a way of saying it's a new standard of who you are, of what you do. It's going to feel scary. It's going to feel terrible. You're going to have doubt. Your brain is going to offer all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't do the thing. And what I want to say and encourage you is to take the bold action, take the bold move, live into your vision, step into it, make those moves. You will reach a point and look back one day and be able to see just how important doing that was. All right. The next lesson, lesson number 5, is along these same lines, and that is step into environments that challenge you. Step into environments that ask more of you. Step into environments that make you feel uncomfortable. And again, this is so important. And I've talked about this before on the show, and I've experienced this time and time again, but every time you step into a new level, every time you make those bold moves, every time you decide and choose that you want something different, it's going to require that you surround yourself and step into an environment where you are challenged at a new level that is requiring more of you, that requires you to grow your capacity. And I know for me, the times where I have been challenged the most, the times where I have needed to grow my own skills and my capacity in different areas were also the times where I experienced the most significant growth, both personally and in the business. So putting yourself intentionally in an environment where you are challenged at a new level, where you are being coached at the highest level, where your skills are being developed in a whole new way, this is where real growth happens. And it's why I love our mastermind programs. It's why I believe so many of our clients experience such extraordinary growth in rapid amounts of time. All right. The next lesson number 6, is to play all out. And what I mean by this is to take your business growth seriously. And what I want to say here is that I see a lot of coaches who are essentially trying to tiptoe their way to 6, multi-6, and even 7 figures in revenue. And I want to be clear that I don't believe that you can't have a life. I don't believe that you can't have fun. I'm not saying that you can't have a great life, that you can't have fun, that you can't have downtime and true rest as you're building the business. But what it does mean is that in those times when you're working, in the time that you do have, the question I would challenge you to ask yourself is, are you playing full out? Or are you getting distracted by shiny objects? Are you putting your time, your energy towards things that are not moving the needle in your business? One of the things early on I decided was that, and this was early on in my journey as a coach, was that I was no longer going to entertain ideas or thoughts or positions of going back to corporate. And I can remember a time when I was first starting out and I was on certain email lists where I would get emails pretty regularly on open positions. They were well matched with my experience, with my career. And there was a time where I would look at those postings where I might think about possibly applying for a certain role. And I also remember the day where I made the decision to no longer do that, where I made the decision to no longer entertain or be distracted by the titles that I was seeing in my email inbox, by the perceived safety of whatever I thought that title or that role would give me. And so I ended up unsubscribing. And that was a really important step for me because it was a clear decision that I made. It was a conscious decision that I was no longer going to be distracted, that I was no longer going to entertain that conversation, that I wasn't going to tolerate from myself the back and forth that, if I'm being honest, was really rooted in fear and doubt and all of the things that's so normal to experience early on in this journey. And instead, I chose to intentionally focus forward. I chose instead to identify myself as a full-time coach, as an entrepreneur. And because of that, I also showed up like that. And this was even when I didn't have very many clients, but I decided instead that I was. I decided that I was a full-time coach. I decided that I was no longer available to be distracted by the appeal of what some corporate role might give me. So I want to challenge you right now. Where aren't you all in? Where aren't you fully playing all out in your business? Where are you saying that you want one thing or a certain result, but you're not actually doing what's required for that thing? This is a really important distinction. And I know when you really get this, can change everything. All right. The next lesson is the lesson of intention. And when I say this, it's specifically about being intentional, not only about creating a business that you love, but also a life. And I alluded to this earlier, but when I look back at this year, one of the things that I am so proud of is the fact that I have created not only a business, but a life that I truly love, that I truly enjoy. And so consciously choosing what you want both to look like. And again, I see this as such a beautiful gift that my past self has given my current self, me today. And there are lots of other gifts that I see. But as I look back on this year, the life that I chose, and again, this has looked and it's evolved over the years, but overall, what I can tell you is that I have now created a business and a life where I have so much time freedom, where I have ample white space on my calendar, where I have specific CEO days where I get to work on my business, where I do things like create content like this, where I do the work on myself. And there are also days where I am focused on fully in with my clients on coaching and coaching my groups. And so one of the things that has been so significant is also the opportunity, the flexibility. And this might sound like an insignificant thing, but I know for many of you, you're going to get this. But to be able to pick up my kids from school, to have a very clear and organized calendar that allows me to do my work and pick up the kids on the days that I have chosen to pick them up on, to be able to run them to their activities, to be present, to travel, to take ample time throughout the year, to create experiences that now are memories for them, for us. It's so valuable to choose to be intentional about your life, to be intentional about your business. And I believe that you can create the business to support the life that you most want to live, but you have to get clear on that first. All right. The next lesson, lesson number 8, is to honor and respect the journey that you're on. And again, like many of these lessons, I have talked about these at different times. I have talked about this in depth. But what I want to say here is that as I look at this year, I have so much appreciation for the fact that I get to do this work, that I get to bring this content to all of you each and every week, that I get to work with my clients, that I get to build a business that truly supports the life that I want to live. And I think far too often we spend so much time in resistance around the challenges that we all inevitably face when growing a business. The resistance of when, for example, we think things should be different, the resistance that we think something should be happening faster than it is, or we think it should. And what I will say to this is that one of the lessons that I'm choosing to anchor in this year is that calm waters do not make a good sailor. So just like in life, when we go through things that require us to figure things out or become a different version of ourselves, it's on the other side of those things when we choose to grow through those things, when we choose to step into those things where we become who we really are. So if you're in a place where you think that things should be different, if you're in a place where you think, for example, you should be farther along, at the same time, I would challenge you, where are you not, or have you not learned the lessons that you're being given in order to advance to your next level? Where are you minimizing the process or the growth or the lessons that are here for you so that you can move to this next level? I want to challenge you to answer those questions, to lean into that. And instead of staying in resistance, I challenge you to instead choose to honor and respect the journey that, let's be honest, you have chosen to be on. All right. The next lesson is the importance of investing in your business growth. Now, something that I've done my entire career as a coach is to be investing in my own business growth, in my growth as a CEO. And I have invested in lots of different things over the course of the years, and it's looked differently along the way. But what I can say without a shadow of doubt is that when I have decided to invest in programs that support me in taking my business to the next level, the experiences, the knowledge, the systems that I have learned and that I've implemented as a result is also why I am here today. It's why I have experienced the growth that I have. So if you're not experiencing the growth that you want, if you're not experiencing the level of success that you want, I would challenge you, where are you not investing in the areas that your business needs you to? Where are you not investing in the areas in order to experience the growth that you say you want? I think for the majority of coaches today, with the acceleration of information, with the speed at which we're moving, with how the markets are evolving, the truth is that I actually don't think this is a negotiable anymore. I don't think not investing in your business growth is going to or will ever lead you to the result that you want. I think that things have become more complex in some ways. I think things are still simple. They're not easy. But I do think that the fastest way forward by far to the growth that you want is to be actively investing in your growth. And that probably looks like getting into a container where you are being challenged at a new level, where you are working with a coach who is helping you to shortcut and cut down your learning curve. I believe that this is the best investment to your future growth. All right. The last lesson, and one of the most important lessons that I have learned this year, is about cultivating gratitude. And for me, one of the ways that I do this is by having a conscious practice around this. It's by looking at and seeing the lessons in everything. It's seeing the good in everything. It's looking at even what might be perceived as a small thing and finding the gratitude. It's finding and seeing, it's choosing to see the significance of those things and being grateful for it all. And so this has allowed me to move through so much in my business and in my life that when you look through this lens, when you find the good, when you truly see it, it can change everything. And so it can give you so much power. And I think there's such a deep sense of peace when you truly trust and you know within you that everything is always working out for you. So even if it's not what you want, even if you think things should be different, I want to challenge you to cultivate a sense of gratitude around it. I want you to lean into trusting that it's all here for you, that it's exactly what you need it to be. All right, my friends, there is my 10 lessons that I wanted to share with you today. Have an amazing week. I will talk to you all again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, if you're ready for a real breakthrough in your business and want to grow and scale your business to at least 6 figures or more in annual revenue, I invite you to apply for my exclusive program, The Mastermind, at amandakarlstad.com/the-mastermind. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Life Coach Business Podcast. If you want to learn more about how to build, grow, and scale your business and accelerate your results, visit amandakarlstadcoaching.com.